It's Tuesday, June 17th. We're back with a brand new episode here at DCTV. And today's episode is brought to you by Total Wireless, the official wireless provider of UFC. They're in your corner with unlimited 5G data that won't slow you down. So, when you're the champion of the world, you obviously bring a lot of attention. There's obviously a lot of talk about what you're doing, what your intentions are, and how you operate. We all know that one of the biggest story getters in mixed martial arts is Islam Makhachev. There was a lot that went around him going up in weight class. There was a lot of things that were in play. You even look at the social media of the Dagestanis this week, and a lot of them are making jokes about what Hunter Campbell was doing in Dagestan. But they're also talking freely and truthfully about what's going on. So clearly, Islam is a big deal, right? He carries a lot of weight, which leads to a lot of stories, and people are talking. People inside his circle are talking now. Umar Nurmagomedov was speaking today and said that Islam never wanted to vacate his championship at 155. He doesn't want to give up that belt and hopes to move back to 155 after he becomes the world champion. Look, I get it, and I understand the intention, but the truth of the matter is it's very hard to cut weight, especially when you cut the amount of weight that Islam does when you don't have to. Part of the reason guys do those hard weight cuts is to become the world champ, be the best in the world, walk into that octagon knowing that you carry the gold. But if you have the belt in the weight class above, that desire to starve, essentially, because that's all we do for a month when you're making a weight class that you're big for, is you starve for as long as you have to starve in order to make the weight class. I find it very difficult, especially after watching Islam in a lot of those weigh-ins he's had recently, him wanting to starve to go down to 155 if he is to become the world champion at 170 pounds. All that is true. I believe the biggest story of the week in regards to Makhachev is, one, sounds like him and Kamaru Usman are okay fighting. And if you are close to that team of fighters in Dominance MMA with Ali Abdelaziz and those guys, you know how much they try to avoid their guys fighting unless it is for a championship. So for these guys to have been in such a small circle for as long as they have been, for Kamaru to just openly go, hey, my goals are more important to me than his goals are to him. And if he is to become champion in my weight class, I want to do that. I respect that. I respect that Kamaru is willing to essentially stand on business and say, I'll fight that man if I have to. I don't want to, but if I have to, I'll fight that man because I know that this is the way that I provide for my family. Javier Mendez, Islam's coach, also said that he feels Kamaru Usman is as close to anyone else in terms of who Islam may fight if he is to become champion. I say if Javier and them believe Islam will definitely become champion, even though we saw how great Jack Della Maddalena looked in his fight against Bilal Muhammad. Great. Kamaru Usman will fight Islam. Great. Islam's getting that title fight against Jack Della Maddalena. I imagine that's going to be somewhere in the late fall, early winter, maybe Madison Square Garden, maybe that end of the year pay-per-view in Las Vegas. There are many cards for him to fight, but I think it'll fall in line with one of those last couple fight cards of the year. Javier Mendez also said, though, that Islam Makhachev might have 3 fights, including Jack Della Maddalena. That right there is where our energy should be spent as Islam fans. How in the world does it feel like another dominant champion may be saying it's about time? Why? He's young. He's the world champ. He's dominating. He's getting an opportunity to become a double champ. Why do we have to look at that again? I think that we are in a time right now in fighting that, for me as a fan, is very sad. I don't believe for a second, though, that it's going to change. I think there will be new guys that will ultimately step right in line with where those guys leave, the Michael Chandlers, the Justin Gaethjes, the Charles Oliveras. There will always be another guy. But when they all start to walk away, it's sad for the fan, especially the new fan that made his way into MMA based on what those guys did for so long in that division. But Islam only has 3 fights. Why? Why? It's scary to me because I know, knowing these guys, if he says, I've got 3, and he stands that he has 3, if he ever comes out and says he has 3, the only saving grace right now is that someone else is saying it for him and he has not said that himself. If Islam comes out and tells us, I've got 3 fights left, we should all go, man, we got to lock in. Because you know that it's a special time, right? It's a special reign that Islam has created at 155. Why? Why, when you're in your mid-30s, are you looking to kind of walk away from the game that you are dominating? We saw Khabib do it, and he never looked back. He never looked back after he left the UFC. That should be worrisome to us as mixed martial arts fans, that if that's the case, it's a problem. We have so many more fights that we want these guys to fight. We want to see him against Jack Della. We want to see him against Usman, and we want to see him against Ilia Topuria. That is how short a window we are talking about if this man is to walk away after 3 more fights. It's crazy. Justin Gaethje said yesterday, if he doesn't get a title fight, he's done. That's crazy. And that's sad to all these fighters or all these fight fans who have come during this era, which to me has been as golden an era as the UFC has ever had in terms of the star power, in terms of the fight quality, in terms of the skill level of these guys that use that octagon to prove their points, show their worth, and honestly make their living. It has been a very, very good time for the entire UFC having those guys. So it should be sad to hear that all these greats are now thinking about being done. Thank goodness we have guys like Ilia Topuria, like Merab, like Pantoja, guys that are dominating their weight classes or intend to dominate their weight classes that aren't. But to me, it sucks that these guys are thinking about walking away. Hold on to the idea, though, and love the fact that Islam isn't saying it himself, someone's saying it for him. I remember when George St. Pierre started talking about retirement. He never brought it up initially. People around him were talking about it. The fans were saying it was almost time. And the moment he made that decision and he was gone, we all regretted walking him out of the door. Enjoy the fighters while we have them, because we will not have them long. There's some massive fights for Islam Makhachev. Let's hope that he sticks around long enough to fight them all. Those are my thoughts. Guys, until next time, like, subscribe, and tell your friends I got a YouTube channel. I'm doing things like this. We don't want those guys to retire, though. Stick around, fellas. We're enjoying y'all. Until next time, peace. All right, guys. Hey, it's the boy DC, your favorite podcaster and also a role partner. And of course, fellas, when you're in or you're out of the bedroom with your partner or that significant other, you have got to satisfy their needs as you try to satisfy your needs. It's so important. Hey, the one thing about Ro, when you're in the bedroom, our guys at Ro Sparks, they got your back. With his long-lasting functionality, Ro Sparks are a 2-in-1 prescription treatment for guys who want more controlled erections. And it doesn't take long either, because after they dissolve, they work in about 15 minutes on average. Ro connects guys with medical providers 100% online, so you don't have to waste time in the waiting room. And if approved, treatment ships directly to your door. For me, honestly, it's a no-brainer. Ro is a must-have, guys. Trust me. New sex health patients get $15 off of their first order of Ro Sparks on the recurring plan. So connect with a provider at RODOTCO/DCTV. Ro.co/DCTV to find out if prescription Ro Sparks is right for you. Guys, that's RODOTCO/DCTV for $15 off of your first order. Hey, get them Ro Sparks. I'm telling you, They work.